Hello, David. All right, I'm going to see if I can explain some of this to you. I'm sure some of what I say you're already going to know, but I'm not exactly sure where the disconnect is, so I'm just going to step through some things. So I have some code written already, so you didn't need to sit and watch me type. Up here is where I'm first setting a library. This is probably a little bit different than what you see in your materials, but this is how I learned, and this is how I use SAS just about every day. First, I define the variable. I'm saying let the word learn equal this text. And then I set the live name, and this is like opening the live name. When you use a live name statement, you're basically telling SAS, I want to create a library where I can store some stuff. So then I reference the variable that I just created here. And yes, it looks like an extra step, but this is the way that we do it at work. And so this is just the way I'm going to show you now. So the first example is from from last week, where you read in this scores.txt file and you set it right here in file, and that's basically what you see up here. You're just reading the file that we have in course content called scores. Okay. And that created scores here. So then I wrote scores2 so I could reference the variable in library that I created. Data scores2 is in ampersand. You use an ampersand when you're referring opening text files like this, scores.txt. So I'm just going to run this whole thing and let's see what happens. All right, so that ran pretty quick. So the libref was successfully assigned. We have the first one reads in file users, creates the data set, and the second one actually reads in the same thing and creates this data set. So there's no problems there. Okay, let's clear that log. All right, so now I have some SAS data sets here, and I've created some libraries. So SAS has a couple of places where I can go. So I'm going to look at Explorer here. You can go to View. You can also go to Window and look at different things you have here. But this is the contents of work. So this library is always created when you are working in SAS. So when you say the data step for data, you created a data set and you're saying scores. But let's say I want to save that in my permanent data set. So now let's change scores2 to be learn.scores2. So now I'm telling SAS I want to put it in this library. And I'm just going to run all of this again. Let's pop out here. There's my scores2 data set, because I just told SAS that's the library I wanted to put it into. Let's use this. I've got this part selected. You can use this icon to go up. And these are my libraries. Here's the library learn that I just created. And that's where I saved this scores2. So then you can also read in libraries. If you wanted to do, let's see, data work.scores3, and you run all this code again, let's see. This is basically reading in the same file again. Work, when you use the work library word, it's default there's scores3. If I use my new learn, oops, gotta spell it right. And run that. There's scores3. So of course you can read from those libraries as well. So let's just wipe this one out. We're going to go data oops, data, let's call this one new score, and I can also reference that set learn dot scores 3. Run. And new score pops up there. So that's how you use these libraries. I'm not sure where yours are getting tripped up. Try using it this way if you're having trouble with the text files. When you have a SAS data set, you can just reference the library name and it reads it in. If you're reading in a different kind of file, it does need to be referenced a little bit differently. As you saw, I used the ampersand before. So I'm going to post this to YouTube and I will send you the link, and I hope this is something that helps you. And if it didn't answer your question, let me know, 'cause I'm just not exactly sure where you're having trouble with the libraries. All right, let me know how it goes.